What's good everybody? My name is Jay Fatty. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about how to find the BPM of samples inside FL Studio. Now there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. This first way would be to just drag it out to whatever bars it's closest to. So if we look at this, we could drag this one to 2 bars, but I think that'd be too short. So we're going to drag it to 4 bars and see if it's on tempo. My master BPM is 130, so we can just click this and go to the time knob and then drag it out to 4 bars like that, and let's highlight it and see if it is on BPM and loops nicely. See, it sounds nice. So sometimes all you got to do is just drag it out. Now another thing that we could do is, I have another example here. Another thing that we could do is do a tempo tapper. So we could play the sample and go to the tempo up here and right click and hit tap, and then we could just tap along with the sample, whatever it may be. Now some samples may sound really weird and trippy. For example, this one right here. It may be hard to tap the tempo, so what we can do is we can actually right click it and then go to detect tempo. And see, it's going to give us an estimate, and I don't think any of these would be right because 111.806 doesn't sound right. The tempo detection in FL Studio is not the best, but I know it's probably in a range of 150 to 300, so I can click that. And it says the tempo for this sample has been detected as 174.980. All right, so that's pretty much 175. So let's just go in here, type in value, 175. All right, now if we look here, the sample does look like it's on BPM by just looking at the waveform. And then if we go over here to the end, you can see it's actually ending right on a bar. It's not over a little bit or under a little bit. So that's another good sign. So let's see. Let's play it with a little bit of the metronome on. See, that does sound like it's right. So sometimes you can just right click and detect tempo, but it does help if you know a range that it's in. You can get that range by doing the tempo tab yourself. But for example, if we just decided that we wanted to do that, my tempo tapping is not the best. I got a 168 BPM, and even if you look, you can see that this probably isn't right. And we do know that now since we already got the correct BPM, but you could see that it's not on a bar. It's not ending on a bar correctly. The waveform's not lining up right with the grid. So once again, we would just go into detect tempo, and now that we know that it's in a range of 168 or close there, once again, we could go to that 150 to 300, and it would find a close enough BPM for us. That's a big thing I want to stress when you're trying to find the BPM, because you can pretty much put it to any BPM. You don't have to find the exact BPM of the sample. So for example, I'll just throw this to a random BPM, like let's just do 107. All right, so look at the waveform. If it's an easy to read sample waveform like this third example here is, we can easily just drag that out until we see those waveforms lining up. So it would only be 8 bars. As you can see, each transient is on a bar. So that tells us that it's probably on BPM. So if we play it, so yeah, pretty much any sample, as long as you can look at the waveform and see, you can drag it to whatever BPM just by doing this time knob. It's a little bit more harder waveform to read it. Like this one, do that tempo tapper and get a general range, and then do a detect tempo of that range, and you should get a pretty spot on response by FL Studio. It's not perfect though, so you may have to do a little bit more maneuvering the sampler around. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If this video brought you value, please leave a like, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell. Make sure you stay safe, stay striving, and always be getting it. Much love, y'all. Peace.